Helps if we unmute. Good morning. Good afternoon, wherever time frame you are and time of day it is. So I run a little bit behind this morning. I had to try to get the kids out. We're trying to get them out to the park to enjoy a day before the 100 and whatever it's going to be, 106, 110 with the humidity and all that fun stuff. So getting them out in the morning, burn off some energy before all that stuff happens. So I got them out the door before I started streaming. Which is great. Now I have a nice quiet house. So today we're going to continue on what we did yesterday. We're going to build out all the player abilities. We're going to go through all the stuff in our game design document. We have to fix the action point subtraction to make sure that when we use an ability, we actually take away the action points. We need to do a range validation, and I think I am going to go forward with the state machine for the targeting, but I'm not going to do that today. That's going to be a next week thing. And then we're going to, I want to revamp the combat manager. I'm going to change the attack AoE, or the attack function to an attack AoE function, because that way we can do a couple different things, and we'll talk through it when we get to there, like how we want to deal with the AoE attacks, because when we do like 7 characters at once, waiting for each attack roll and each defense die takes a long time, and it kind of isn't fun. Plus, it messes with our animations. You know, when we cast Fireball, he's not going to cast it once, and it's an AoE spell. He's not going to cast it 7 times. So we're going to tweak that a little bit. It's going to basically be the exact same logic that we have right now, with the exception I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them roll once. We looked at the dice simulation last time, and we determined that with 4 dice, you only have like a 5% chance that you're never going to roll a hit. So I think that that's still a good thing. Plus, we're not like Hero Quest where you use a spell, it's spent, you don't get it again. We're going to keep that being able to be refreshed. So I don't think that that's going to be a big deal. We'll have to work in the next milestone about balance. Is it the next milestone? Can't remember where it is. But when we do balancing, right now he's going to be able to cast Fireball every turn, but it takes 2 action points to do so. That may very well become unbalanced because he gets 4 attack dice to an AoE. It's very powerful. So allowing him to do it that often is probably not good. And then we're going to build out all the other abilities for, the bomb throwing for the rogue. We're going to do the shurikens. We're going to do the priest ward of pain, the priest healing. We're going to do the Barbarian's thunderclap and stuff like that. So the other reason with the attack AoEs, I want to be able to play that animation and then trigger all the stuff. So when we get into that, I'll show you the logic that I think I have. It's basically the attack thing, but we're going to go through, roll 1 attack, go through all the defense dice, and then we play the animations. And then we can just trigger them all simultaneously. So instead of having to, roll the dice, roll the defense dice, play the 2 animations, then do the next one, especially if someone has a long death animation, that's going to really drag it down. So I think what we'll do is we'll go through, we'll do all the dice rolling. Once all the dice rolling's done, then we just play out all the animations at the same time. So I think that's going to be a lot better. Plus, we need to spawn some scenes, or like the fireball, wherever it lands, it needs to erupt and get everybody and all that stuff. And then the other thing we need to do, and I don't know if we're going to get to it today, but it's on my list, is we need to build the buff system for all the abilities. So like the battle cry and stuff like that for the Barbarian. We need to be able to build that buff system so we can add it into, add it onto the monsters if they lose defense dice, add it onto the heroes if they get extra attack dice, stuff like that. So we definitely need to do that. If I don't get to it today, I've already done a buff system in several other games, so I might go over to those and see what I did for code and probably like pull it down into a cheat sheet, so then we can put it into this game. It's one of the benefits of now making, I've published, I don't remember, 12 plus games. So by doing all these different games, I have a lot of stuff to pull from. While not a lot of it is all good, I do have a lot of this stuff I've already spent time working out, so I can just kind of grab the algorithm, the logic from it, and quickly throw it into a game. So that, whether or not you actually publish the games, just making them gives you a vast pool to pull from for your future projects. So, I did it in, I think it was my 2 years of game dev video. I talked about the graveyard, and you have all that backlog stuff. So don't delete your old stuff, because you've already figured out some stuff. And while it may not have worked for that game or whatever you're designing, it could help for future stuff. So again, take my advice, don't get rid of it, and especially don't lose it. So don't put it on a server that's going to fail. Thankfully, all my game dev stuff, I have in GitHub. I have it on the cloud. I have it on multiple devices here, including my server. So when I lost it, I lost one of 4 copies. So thankfully, that stuff I was smart enough to keep backed up. YouTube videos, because of the size, that didn't do so well. But without further ado, let's get into our stuff for today. Sip of coffee and we'll get rolling. Okay, so we're going to work on the ability system today. We're going to come down here. We should be able to get this crossed off, or at least very close. We may, because of the buff system, we may have to delay a couple powers. But I want to get all that. I want to rewrite the AoE so then we can actually get the animation system in place, and then we can actually build all the animations, because, the rogue's going to throw a bomb, then it's going to explode. Wizard's going to cast a fireball, then it's going to explode. Things like that. The wizard has, like a flame spell and stuff like that. So, Barbarian has an AoE that's centered on himself. So this is going to be a lot of fun. We'll get that done. And then we need to work on the monster abilities. I don't think there's going to be a lot here that we need to do right off. I think I got to stop touching my mouse so the screen doesn't keep jumping around. The monster abilities, we've already decided back in our GDD. Where we go? Monsters, combat flow. I thought we wrote it down, but it doesn't look like we did. We decided that our monsters are going to basically be, melee, ranged attack, and that's about it. They might have, like when we get into the troll or something like that, maybe it'll have an AoE smash or something like that. But they're not, at least right now, the monsters that we decided right here, these are not spellcasters. So we don't have to worry about, coming up with a spell system for them. So that's going to make it a lot easier when we implement monster abilities. That being said, as I get closer and closer to finishing this 100-hour package, when we go from like an early access into the full-fledged game, I may very well start revamping that and then start adding in bad guy spellcasters and stuff like that. But I think we've already got melee, we've already got movement. All we need to do is basically build a ranged attack for the orcs, and then we can reuse that logic. The only difference is going to be, again, these are all low-level guys, these are mid-level guys, and these are high-level guys. So it's just going to be changing hit points and attack dice. I mean, that's going to be all that those are going to require. And then the boss stuff, not sure how we want to implement the bosses right now. We may or may not have those in the early access. I think we should, because then it gives us something to drive towards, and it gives us like a good cap of, if we do descending dungeon levels, like level 4, boom, we've hit the pale boss. Level 8, we've hit the cave troll. Something along those lines. It gives it a nice like break, a defining section of our game. What's the word I'm looking for? Think of like story arcs. Here's Act 1, Act 2. It gives us like cap to those acts to try to kind of keep the player like, hey, something new happened. Let's go see what the next new thing is. So if we do that, we may very well just need to do one more to add in for the low level one. Yeah, and then we've already got all this stuff done. Let's go back over here. and then we need to build out the inventory and the items. This should actually be pretty easy. I'm going to steal some of the code I've definitely done because I've done many games with inventory. I will use that. Our inventory is only going to be 4 slots. Weapon, armor of some type. Like my original idea was a cape. I don't know if I'm still going to stick with cape or not, but weapon, armor, and then 2 items that they can have. Like a healing potion, a potion of speed, invisibility. Something like that. And then those we can just use basically the ability, or not the ability, the buff system. You take invisibility, you have the invisible buff, then enemies don't target you. Something along those lines. So that should be pretty easy to implement, especially because I've done it so many times. And then, we're just going to define the stats. And then we want to, when we do that, we're going to rework the combat system slightly for the attack, because right now we're pulling from the stats of the actor. And instead of pulling from the stats of the actor, we're going to pull an actual like attack or defense value from the actor. Because if you remember the stats, we build those as a base class and put it into the player actor. So that will just be our base stats, and then we'll have the modifiers within the actor itself, and then we'll just pull from that instead. It's a simple change, but it's going to be one that's going to be very important once we add items and we add buffs. So once we have the buff system, we'll have that in place. So then when we add items, we already have the logic in place. Okay, so we got that. Is there anything else I want to review? I don't believe so. So first things I want to do, let's go over here. We need to start our timer. Keep track of our time. Right now we are at, since I've had my server back up, we're at 4.2 hours. So I'm about 0.2 hours off of my calculation. So I have 36.5, so it should be 36.7. Roughly the hours that we're at right now. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to scrub through my old videos that are on YouTube. I'm going to pull all the information that because thankfully I did most of this on stream, and I'm going to plug all that in. So we're going to have an actual accurate one in here. I just haven't got there yet. So let's go to our Kanban. Let's work on the ability system. I've added in the attack AoE because I want to add that. So we'll start our timer. We'll jump on over to Godot and load it up. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go in and we want to subtract the AP cost value. So when we start using the abilities, we need to make sure we subtract the AP. And I'm scrolling through my scripts, not through my functions. Start ability targeting, because that is what I think we trigger when we click the button. Where do we set up the action panel? Here we go. Set up action panel. We set these up to button press, start ability targeting, and we pass the ability. Okay, so yes. So here, where we're using the ability name, we need to check to make sure first we have the action points available to use the ability, and then subtract it let's just check, make sure we have it, because I don't have it worked in here yet, but we do need to add in the cancel, because we need to be able to cancel the ability. Right now we only have ability to run it, and we don't have a way to back out. So let's add in our check. Let's make sure, because we don't want the wizard to just infinitely cast fireball, as we know that's going to be way too much. So let's just do if current actor dot ability, is it AP? What do we call them? Oh no, it's dot turn node. Is that what did we just call it? Turn node? What did we call it? Combat manager, turn node actor. Okay, so this is what we want to use right here. Turn node, the action, is it action points? What do we call it here? Turn node, action points. Okay, whoops, wrong button. Action points is greater than or equal to ability dot, what would be AP cost. Okay. Oh, no, let's just do if it's less than the cost, then we're gonna print a message. We're gonna print an error here. And we're just gonna steal this, and we're just gonna say not enough ENOU, enough AP. There we go. That works. Oops. Gotta remember, that doesn't automatically overtype. Okay, so if we don't have enough ability points to use it, we're going to print the error. It's going to just return. So we're never going to start targeting. So now, if we do have enough, we're going to say using this. But what we need to do here is, let's copy here. So we go through all this, ability, selected, current actor. So this is on target self. Selected as target, ability target selected, ability AoE target selected. Okay, so let's go down here. Let's go into ability target selected. Here's where we print the name. So then here, when we select the target, we're going to actually take and do minus equals the ability cost. Oh, we didn't pass in the ability cost. Okay, so we need to pass that in here. Current actor, comma, ability, AB. Should we pass in just the full ability, or should we just pass in the ability cost? Let's just pass in the full ability for right now. Right, there we go, ability. Okay, and then here, we're going to bring in ability. That, I spelled it right, yeah? Hey. Spelling. You can tell I was into computers and not into the English language. Okay, so then what we can do is when we select the target here, we're going to send the full ability. We're going to subtract the ability cost. So then we spend that ability point. Okay. English be hard. Yes, English be hard. Okay, so then we need to do the same thing. AoE target selected. Look, we've already passed in the ability, so that's going to be nice and easy. So we can just take this line. Let's make sure there's no this here first. So we have our error check there. And then we subtract the cost here. Okay. And then too few arguments and what? Ability target selected. Okay, we use this in another line. Oh, here we go. This was the start ability targeting. This is just a regular thing. Okay, so that should, no more errors. Okay, so now we've got those couple things. So now we should have the ability point cost coming away. We should do one other thing. And I'm going to kick it down the road until the until we get to the UI, where we want to like gray out the ability. So like Fireball costs 2 ability points. If they don't have to, then gray it out. I'm going to put that down into the UI section and not right now into this. So let's just make sure this is working. So we go here. If we do like heal, that takes 1. If I do heal one more time. Okay, but that did not end the turn, so we need to check. We execute. How did we do this before? With our attack. How we call the attack, we await. Was it actor attack or is it just target selected? And we call it right here. If we say if current turn, there we go. If is in group players. Okay, let's copy this. And then we're going to come back down here to where we did this. We go through. At the very end, if these are all returning. Let's change these into, I think, else if. I'll keep you up. I'm going back to this Minecraft like. Yeah, good luck on that one. Um, it's been on my list of trying to make a Minecraft like game because I love Minecraft. It's our family works out really great with it. My wife loves to mine. I hate mining. I want to farm. I want to build houses and towers and all that stuff. So she collects all the materials and I build the stuff. And then my son gets in and just causes chaos. So it's always a fun time between the three of us. And once my youngest starts playing, then it's going to be even more fun. Um, so I've always kind of wanted to make that type of game just to, you know, make something I kind of like. It's hard because Valheim is kind of like that, except for it's a little bit more graphical, and you've got, um, the Viking thing. It's a little bit more. It's not as rigid. You don't have the blocks, and things have to go here and here and here. And part of that like bugs me, because I like the order snapping things right to each other. I don't like the extra spaces. It's not it's not super bad, but I struggle with graphic programming. You make your own cubes essentially. Yeah. There was a my first programming book I ever bought for myself. God, I can't remember what it was called now. It was like making 3D games. And the book came out. I'm trying to remember now if it was after Wolfenstein 3D or I think it may have been just after Doom came out. But it was basically making a Wolfenstein 3D. It came with the source code. It was all back then. It was C. Was it C or C plus plus? It may have been C plus plus, but it came with a 3.5-inch floppy in the back of the book, and that was my first exposure ever uh, to trying to make a three or I'm going to put quotes 3D game because those, if you know anything about how those actually work, they looked 3D, but they were I'd call them more like 2.5D, where they nothing could actually be on top of another thing. It just kind of overlapped. Okay, so let's see. Where were we here? We trying to get the end turn. Okay, so we target the ability. So instead of this, maybe instead of doing our returns, we change these all into else if, and then um, we can run the action point right through here. So put this in here. For current actors and players, if the action points are less than 0, end turn. Yeah, because right now we haven't converted our monsters to use action points the real way. We have our monsters using a very decision engine, you know, check through here, make a choice. Check through here again, make a second choice if I have 2 points. Yeah, I was working on a system like that a few months ago. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of fun to go back and look at that stuff and realize just how those people came up with that stuff back then. They were just insanely genius. Uh, it's like, how could you think like that? Okay, so we got this here. We're going to remove this return, and then we're going to change these into else ifs because we're okay. If that, okay, done. If this, else if, and then we check this, and then we return. Okay. We need to remove these returns as a result too. That one we want to leave in there. Okay. Do we want to leave that in there? I think we want to leave that in there because we don't want to take away. We'll let something else happen to check for the AP cost to make sure the turn is over. Okay. So that should be. So now if I use heal on the wizard and if I use heal on the barbarian, should end my turn. It did not. Okay. What did we mess up? I gotta go through all these yellow ones. Method expected 2 arguments but called with 1. Emit, get parent, selected as target. Did we connect to... let's bring up targeted. Oh, this is targeted. Let's bring up Did we do a selected as target in here? Oh, we did. Okay. Ability target selected. Connect ability target selected. Oh, we just need to add in. Let me just double check how we're doing this because I don't want to mess things up. Because I know I'm going to be tearing this out. I'm going to tear out this targeted. I'm going to move it into that targeting state machine. But I just want to get stuff working right now. Let's see here. So if we're doing this, this is the input event. Is this got any? This has no reference to the ability. So selected as target. So why don't we go back here and game board. So here selected as target. Selected. Where is it? Target selected? Ability target selected. Ability target selected. Here we go. So here, if the ability is there, right? Because for attack, we're not using ability. So we can just set this to to null, and then if null or if not null. There we go. Oh, whoops. If ability does not equal null. There we go. And then we can run this. Okay, that should fix this error. I don't like the way that we just fixed it, but that should fix the error. Oops, let's stop the game. F8, okay. Let's run this again. Okay, so now if we heal again, end the turn. Did not end the turn. Why did it not end the turn? Okay, let's go back and take a look here. We don't have any red errors, so that seems to be working. Oh, you know what we can do? We can just do... Wait. So we're targeting with our healing spell. We're clicking on that. We're returning the target, so the wizard. So this is coming back saying wizard. We're not sending in an ability. Did we not define on the priest his ability? We said AP cost is 1. So maybe we need to send the... Can we do an additional bind? I don't think we can. Okay, let's... I think we ran into this last stream as well, and I kind of punted it down the road. So let's just do... Let's just do this. We'll make this happen no matter what. And then here we can just copy this, and then we can just say else minus equals 1. There. So then it'll just default to 1. Let's just make sure that our logic here is working. So we use battle cry twice. Ends his turn. Okay. Fireball, boom. No targets in AoE, so it doesn't actually run. And then if we use mobility twice, ends his turn. Healing twice. Okay, so it's just the healing spell that's not working right. Okay. Okay, so let's just undo this. I just want to double check to make sure that it was just the healing spell that was busted. 1, 2. Okay, yeah, so it's just the healing spell that's busted. Okay. 1, 2. Yep. Okay. Okay. So why is our healing spell busted? Okay. So like if we go over to the rogue, AP cost 1, range, self, target allies. Okay, let's go over to priest. Did we change this single target allies? So it's all set up the exact same way as the rogue, right? 111 self check. Priest ability 111. Oh, it's set for single target. Okay, so this one's single target versus self. Okay, so let's go. Had the barbarian set for self? Is that what we did? Yeah, we did self on that one. Okay, so priest. So that one's different because it's set for single target. So let's look at our single target logic. Okay, so if we come in here, we go into our ability targeting. We send the ability using ability. If target is a single target, which is right here, there we go. Select the target, which is what I think we were trying to do. I didn't do it this time. If the target is in players, if ability targets allies, so if this is a player activating it and the ability targets allies, actor targeted mode enabled on players. And then it says here, if the actor targeted, if that is not connected, then connect the ability target selected. Okay. An ability target type equals, oh, that's else if. Okay. No, so this should be fine, but why is this? Okay, so on the self, this is not going properly, but, or not the self, the single target, but it does work on self. So self, we're doing it here. We're calling it with the ability. Here, we're not calling it with the ability. Actor targeted, enable target mode. Do we do a, duct tape and popsicle stick method and we pass the ability down to targeting mode? You know what? Let's do it, because I already said, hey, we're going to tear this out. So let's pass that down into the targeting mode. Targeting mode, enable target mode. We're going to put in our ability here. Okay. And then when we do the emit, here, we'll just do a var here. Ability is an ability. Okay. We'll make this an underscore. So then if it is connected, return. If not, connect. We'll just do ability equals underscore ability. Okay, so then that will set that up. And then when we do the emit, we can get parent, comma, ability. There we go. We'll do it that way. We'll just set that as null by default. Okay. Disable target mode. We'll do ability equals null here, just to. When do we do the disable? So let's see here. That should work there. Now let's go back over here, and when we're calling this, let's just make sure we're passing the ability in other places. Enable target mode. Well, whoops. Ability here. Oops, helps so I spell ability right. Okay. So let's just make sure that all of our references to this are being called properly. Target mode here. We can just do a null there. That's fine. Does this one actor attack? There is no ability. It's just attack. So we can do a null there. This is ability target. So here we need to pass ability. Ability. And over here, ability. That one we're not using. Ability. Okay. So let's see if now we have fixed the priest. Okay. Battle cry, end turn. Fireball doesn't work because we have no targets. So we just end his turn. Mobility, ends turn. Healing, cast here. Healing, cast here. And did that not? Well, it gives us not enough. Yeah, look, we're still in targeting mode. Okay. But it did tell us there's not enough AP. So it's telling us that we can't use it. So it has been subtracting it. But we didn't end the turn. Why didn't we end the turn? Oh, did we not do a... We don't have a return in here, right? No. Single target. We select our single target. We call ability target selected. Ability target selected. Target clicked wizard. Yeah, see, we're clicking healing word. Target clicked barbarian. Target clicked wizard. So we are doing this properly. And it's subtracting our AP, but it's not ending the turn. So why is it not ending the turn? Passing back our ability of null. Is that why? AoE. Should we just add in an end turn? Check here. If combat manager action points is less than or equal to 0, end turn. End, was it end turn? Yeah. Heal wizard, heal barbarian. There we go. Okay. Fireball. This should end his turn, in theory, once it's cast. Boy, that's smoking that orc. And that did not end this turn. Oh, right, because we didn't update the AoE. AoE, we didn't add in the... We have the check here for removing the AP cost, but we didn't add in the... If AP cost is 0. There we go. Okay. So then that should, in theory, end the wizard's turn. Oops. So we can get some orcs here to show up. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Come on, let me cast Fireball. Cue up the Pitball song. God, I'm old. Okay, let's see here. Cast the Fireball. I still have to add in the logic to make sure that we're casting Fireball on the legit floor square, which we can do that in the Fireball script itself. I just haven't got there yet. Okay, end turn. Boom. Okay, done. Okay, so we got the AP cost gone. Right here. Where is AP subtraction? Okay. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to get... You know what? I wanna do a little bit something more productive for right now. So I'm gonna start building out the actual character ability. So let's start with the wizard, because we already started with him with the fireball. Let's build what do we got here? Wizard is GDD wizard. Wizard has, we have fireball, we have fire torrent, which is a single target, and then fire familiar and teleport. Okay. So let's do the fire torrent. Fire familiar, I'm going to I'll write the framework for them. Both of these. I'll write the framework for these. We're going to need some extra logic in there for these, but let's we'll start with Fire Torrent and then we'll go to the others. So if we take Fireball, this is a good base script to have here. So let's just copy this and let's go into our wizard. Here he is, wizard abilities. Create new. We're going to create new script, and this is going to be Fire Torrent. Okay, and then we can just paste in the Fireball here. We're going to change this to Fire Torrent. Okay, this is fine for right now. Execute, attack actor, and this is going to be Fireball cast. This is going to be a Fire Torrent cast. Okay. And then we're going to go through and we're going to attack. This would we say was 3 dice? Yeah, 3 dice, single target. Okay, 3 dice. Okay. And that's play fire. I'm going to call it play fire instead on the actor. This is some more animations we're going to need to go back in and do. It's going to be real simple. We're just going to take the location of the enemy and we're going to create like a little fire sprite that just appears, plays the animation, and then Q frees itself. We might do an animated sprite 2D or could be just a full sprite with a animation player. Not sure yet, but we'll do that. We have the logic here, so we can come back in and drop those in after. Okay, so we're going to have to build... We'll leave that as is for right now. So if we come in here, create new resource... do a Fire Torrent. Fire Torrent spell. Okay. And then over here, we're going to call it Fire Torrent. Else if I type right, Fire Torrent. Attack a single target with 3 dice. Okay, it's going to cost 1. Did we decide a range on that? We did not. Okay. Let's give it a range of, let's give it a little bit longer. Let's give it like 8. It's a single target. We do not target allies. Let's save this. Let's bring up the Fireball spell. Fireball. Here we go. Let's copy this texture. I have to go back and find some new textures. The artist that created all these sprite sheets, I swear he's got ability icons for the True Heroes 3 and 4 pack, but oops, let's paste that as unique. I just haven't got around to trying to find them yet. I've poked around real briefly, but I haven't gone too deep into it yet. So I think he has them. They're just probably hidden in some other Patreon exclusive repository download, something like that. So, okay, so we've got this. We've got the target here. So we got this. We need to add in his spell. So let's add in here. We'll clone the Fireball cast, duplicate. This would be called the Fire Torrent cast. Okay, and then we need the texture, which I think we have a fire special animations. Fire Torrent. Here we go. GIFs. Nope, not GIFs. This one, I believe it is. Let's just double check. Yep, that's the one. How this one... See, this one works because it creates a... it's kind of like, if I think I showed you last time in my Dungeon Fodder game, it creates like he cast, and then it creates like a flamethrower effect out of the end of his thing. So I'm just gonna use the wizard part of it for right now. Let's see here. That was, whoops. This is true. That's a lot of frames. Okay, so that's the dead center. So it's gonna be an even number: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 20 frames. Okay, so let's throw that in here. This is gonna be 20. Oh boy. It's a good thing this is a single target, because a 2-second cast time is going to take forever. One more. Oh, two more. Two more. There we go. Okay, so this one should be 10. This one will be 11, 12. Again, I like to use continuous, but we found some problems earlier on in this. So we're not using continuous. We're hand keyframing all this stuff. 19. So then our fire torrent cast, he just does that. Boom. Okay. So we save that. Okay, so then if we go back over to our wizard here and we add in another element and we do a quick load, we can do a fire torrent spell. We save that. So now our wizard can do the fire torrent spell, and I think it should just work. Yeah, let's see. Oops. Let's actually, you know what? Let's go back to our game board. Let's, instead of having to hunt for orcs, let's just bring them into the starting area. Okay. Okay, end turn for you, end turn for you. Oh, you hit my wizard. Okay, don't kill my wizard before I can test him. Hey, there we go. Okay. Mobility, whatever was done. Well, I want to hook up that heal next because that's going to be very useful. Wait a minute. Did we skip over? Here we go. Fire torrent. Okay, so let's cast it on this guy. That was weird. Did that actually work? Let's go back up here. Melee, melee. Healing word, battle cry. Here we go. Fire torrent. Select target. Target selected. Target clicked. Wizard turn is over. There's an add-on that I like to use that will transfer animated sprites into an animation player. I like using it because I can quickly set up the sprites using frames and then transfer them over. It can do unexpected things, though. Yeah. Yeah, I usually just like to do the continuous and just say, here's the first frame, here's the last frame. And then it can interpolate everything in between. But sometimes there is, because it's not keyframing and it tries to, if something's not lined up just perfectly, I think we had it in this one where like the wizard was quickly changing to the next frame and then back again. So he was like spinning for half a second. Don't want to do that. Okay, so why did that not work? Let's let's do this. Let's go back over to our wizard. Let's temporarily modify this so we target allies. So save that, and then we'll go back over to our game board. We'll turn off the orcs. Now let's see if we can get our wizard to kill our friends. Okay, flame torrent. Clicked on the barbarian. Okay, ended its turn, but why didn't it actually execute? That is a good question. Let's go into our flame torrent. Let's make sure that it's working. So here we have attack actor. Oh, yep. Yep, it's not working because attack actor is what we're using for our AoE attacks. We are not using that for our single target. So this needs to be in execute. So we'll just copy this over here. Or should it be in execute or should it be in... Yeah, no, in execute we can call in... Let's think about this. Because it's a single target, it's not an AoE. So if we come back to the game board, and we come down here to our target selected. There we go. We combat manager. We don't actually call the ability. We should call the ability execute. When we do AoE selected, we do send in this. Do we need to do... should we have a separate one for, like, if it's allies? We don't need the combat manager because all we're going to do is like heal, most likely. Heal or provide some buff. So we probably don't need to pass in the combat manager because we're going to just target the actor itself. But if it's a not... No, because if I do that, then when we pass in like the battle cry, that's not actually an attack, it's just a buff change. I mean, we can still pass in the combat manager that way, and we just don't use it. Yeah, so let's do that. Okay, so let's take this that we're using here, and we go back up here. If ability is not null, take away the action points. If the combat manager action points are less than 0, and turn. So then we're targeting the actor. So then if ability that is valid target, call actor current cell. Right, ability target selected. We're going to use underscore actor. And then actor current cell. And then await ability attack actor. Or do we want execute here? What would we use for the ability here? Execute. We have the actor in the target cell. Yeah. This is starting to bring up where I think I need to rebuild that attack AoE, and we can just use an array attack. Oh. Okay, well, let's just do... Because I don't have it as a virtual interface here. I can't really use attack actor. I need to call that from execute. So let's take this, because I don't think we're actually calling execute anywhere yet in our game board. Let's just find out here. Game board, Control F, execute. Yeah, we're not using execute anywhere. So we can change that virtual interface. So let's do that. So let's do actor, and then oops, cancel. Let's pass in the combat manager. And we're going to just underscore that because we may not need it. Okay. So we'll do that for the execute. We need to update our fireball. There's our fireball. So this needs to change to combat manager. Okay, and we'll just put... Okay. So what I should be able to change how I do a lot of stuff here. Okay, so that's fine there because we're going to use attack actor here. Yeah, we'll leave this alone for right now. So this is fireball, fire torrent. We're going to do the same thing. Let's copy. Oops, let's just copy this part. Fire torrent. Okay. Okay, well, this is fire torrent. Okay, let's put this in here. Okay, and then in here, then we can just call this right there like that. We don't need that one at all. Okay. And then this needs to be an underscore. And actor underscore. Okay, there we go. So now that we need to call execute from the game board. If it's a single target, which is what this is, then we call ability. This will be execute. Okay. And then that'll be the combat manager. I think our combat manager, if I remember right, can handle healing and stuff like that. So we want to make sure that we use that as well. So this should now make the fire torrent work. And if I remember correctly, we got to double check, make sure that our resource didn't get hosed when we did that. Fireball spell. Okay, that looks fine. Fire torrent spell. That looks fine too. Okay. So let's see here if now we can burn our allies. So end the turn. Instead of waiting through all that, I'm just going to do this again. End turn. There we go. End turn. Okay. Fire you. Okay. But that took 2 action points. So maybe what we need to do, instead of doing... I think what we need to do here is where we're subtracting this right here. I think when we call the is valid target and then the execute, I think we need to pull this into the execute. So let's take this out of here. Cut this out of here. Okay. Combat manager, combat turn node, action points. Okay, so we're not subtracting anything here. In the targeting, I don't think we're subtracting anything either. So let's go back into our fire torrent here. So if it's valid, return true. So that says true. Here we do this, and then we want to do subtract the action point. Combat manager turn. So current turn action points minus equals the ability. Oh, we just need to do AP cost here because that's all part of this. Okay. So we'll subtract it and then we'll play. Okay. So that should work there. Because then it's only doing it when it goes through this execute. Let's see here. Fire. So why is it doing subtracting 2 points? So we must be subtracting it somewhere else. So here in the execute, we subtract it in this. Excuse me. What if we just take this out? What happens here? I know we did this to fix this part. And so that now that one doesn't work right, but we'll get back to that one. So this. Okay, so that doesn't work properly now either. But let's try the fire torrent here. Okay, fire torrent second time. Okay, so that is working fine. Okay, so then the other ones, the self ones, let's take out the... So we'll put the AP cost... Oh, I don't know if I like doing that. Maybe we move that into an actual function within the base ability class, so then we always subtract it if it's valid. And we put it in the valid... Because I'm thinking, like, if we make another function here and we do it just to subtract the cost. So we validate the target. What's our current plan here is we pass the abilities, we say, is it valid? And then we execute it. So the question is, when do we subtract the AP cost? Because we want to make sure whatever we do, we make it universal. So we want to make sure that we have targeting ability. So we can target. We want to make sure we cancel. So before we select a target, we don't want to subtract the AP cost there. We want to make sure after we select the target, we validate the target because we want to make sure that something weird didn't happen. And then after the target's valid, we subtract the AP cost and run the ability. I think that's the order of execution. So when we do the execute here is where we should be doing subtracting the cost. So if we take this, let's just cut this out entirely here. And we come back into our game board. Okay, so if it's a valid target, then here we subtract the AP cost. And this would be ability.AP cost. Okay. So if it's valid, subtract the AP cost, await that, and then at the end, after that's done, check for this. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So make sure we didn't break anything here. Okay, so fire torrent. We fire on the rogue. You take some damage, but we're still execute. Why are we subtracting 2? Where are we subtracting the other action points? Let's find out. Let's find out. Where are we doing this else? That's area. We're not doing area. This here, we're just checking to make sure we have enough action points. This is checking to make sure. This is after just an attack. We should rename this from target selected to, attack target or something like that, weapon target. Okay, so that's just ending the turn. Are we using that targeted? I don't think we are. We're not using AoE, so we're not using that function. Ability target selected. This is where we just were. The AP cost is just 1. Start ability targeting. Here we go. Let's just print right here. Let's do a print. Where are we? This one right here. We want to see what our current action points are. Let's also put that in right here, just so then maybe for some reason this is tripping. Okay, end turn here. Boom. So fire torrent says we have 2 action points. Like click on the barbarian. It goes through. It does this thing. It ends my turn. So we never go to. Okay. So let's go back and look at here. So we do this. Start the targeting. We go through. It's not self. It's a single target. So in here, target ability. If it's a player, whatever, we go to ability target selected. Okay. Jump down to ability target selected. We send in our target, actor, and the ability. If the ability is not null, print the actor name, which we're doing here, Barbarian. If ability is valid target, subtract the action points, await the execute. Oh, I wonder, are we subtracting it in the attack? Okay, so let's go back. So we're calling it in the combat manager attack. In the combat manager, are we subtracting the ability points? Maybe that's where we're doing it. Yep, right here. Current turn manager. Okay. So when we're calling that attack function, we're subtracting the point. Okay. So that's where that's happening. That is because this is our melee attack. This is what this was written for. With the new function, the way we have it, let's go back over here to our game board. I think we might be able to take this out. Take this out right here. I'm just going to comment it for right now. Let me jump back over to game board because I think we're using ability target selected here, but what are we using for target selected? Here we go. Await this. And then if we do here, and then we move the, let's go back over to here. If we take this right here and add that in to after the combat from that target selected, I think that should fix both issues, because then we'll still subtract 1 for our melee attack, and then we will also be able to reuse that for our abilities. So we await here. We do combat manager, turn action points minus equals 1. Okay. And then if they're in the players, we end the turn. Okay. So let's double check this. Let's see if this works. So we do a fire torrent. We should be able to cast it a second time. Okay. Fire torrent second time. This should end our turn after we do the damage. Boom. Okay, ends our turn. So let's attack. Apparently I have friendly targeting turned on right now. And that ends the turn. Okay, so that does work. Did not know we had friendly attack for melees turned on. Okay. Okay, so we got that part. That one was the passive abilities, execute, make sure it's valid, then execute. Okay, so we did that part. Okay, so we've got the wizard's fire torrent working. We've got the, let's see, what else did we have for the wizard? We're going to, we'll just build out the framework for these two. We're not going to implement them right now because I need to build another creature that's going to use the monster logic, but it's going to be on the player group for the fire familiar. And then, actually, we could just, it's probably going to take different logic because right now the monsters look for players. They don't look for monsters. So we'll have to full new logic in another character scene. Okay, so then let's just write the frameworks for these two out. And then, okay. So let's take the fire torrent. There we go. There we go. Whoops. Fire torrent. There we go. I'm just going to take this out entirely, just because this will be a lot easier to work with. Okay, so that's fire torrent, and let's do a new, create new script. The next one was fire familiar. F-A-M-I-L-I-A-R. I-L-I-A-R. There we go. Wow. I am special. Okay. Okay, so we got this. This is fire familiar. Okay. We can just leave this in here for right now. That's fine. Okay, and then we're going to copy this again. We're going to do one more, create new script. This one's going to be called teleport, T-E-L-E-P-O-R-T. And this would be teleport. Okay, and this is fine. See, this is the one where we need the target cell in here because we need to move them to a new cell. That should be fine. We'll Oh, actually, you know what we can do? In the teleport, we can just take in this target cell right here. And we just create a new var target. Do a vector 2i right there. I don't know if we can do a null for that. I guess we can't. We'll just leave it like this then. And then here, we can just do target equals that. And then in this case, we're not going to use, oops, TA. Oh, there we go. And then in the execute here, we can just do the teleport, and off we go. Okay, so that should work there. So that's teleport. Let's just make the scene files for those. Complete, create new resource, and we're going to create a, oh, did I not? Yeah, I saved it as teleport. Okay. Create new resource and fire familiar. We'll do that first. Fire familiar spell. Okay. Fire familiar. Okay. And then let's just steal this texture again. Oop. Come on, mouse. Thank you. Copy. My system is struggling. I need to redo. I have way too many USB things plugged in between my monitor so I can actually see what's going on in the stream and my mouse and everything else. It's a little too much, I think, for that single bus. Okay, so let's put that in there. This is a fire familiar. Fire familiar. Summon a, I don't know, a fire bat. I can't remember what the actual image is. Yeah, 4 monitors. I have an ultra wide, and then I have 2 other monitors on top of that. So it's a lot. 5. Okay. Well, if you count my Stream Deck, you see a little touch LCD screen. Let's see here. I think the Stream Deck, I actually need to route from my hub directly into my computer. I think that's the root cause of a lot of my problems. Let's see here. So we get teleport. We did that. We created, this is AP cost 1, AoE radius, single target. We're just going to do self because it's going to create it in a allied square. So we'll just save that. Let's do one more. Let's do a new resource. Let's see here. It's the teleport. There we go. Teleport spell. Okay. Ability teleport. And move to a new square. There we go. AP cost is going to be 1. Range. We'll make this... did we give it a range in our GDD? Teleport. Up to 12 squares. Okay. We'll do 12. Single target. This is on self. Okay. And then we just need a paste as unique. And then we'll just keep using these for right now. I need to hunt down some textures. And then we'll figure that out. I use a 50 and 4K TV. It turned into 4 monitors technically. I love having multiple monitors at work. I have 3 plus my laptop and all that stuff. So basically I have 4 at work, but I would never recommend anybody to ever buy an ultra wide. It's nice for if you're doing video editing, like in Premiere and stuff like that, having that ultra wide is great. I love it for video editing. It's good for playing Forza Horizon, those type of games, racing games. Playing something like World of Warcraft, no, forget it. Horrible. The quests are over on one side of the screen. Your inventory is on the other. You can't see them both at the same time. It's too much real estate. For most gaming, The other problem it also has is it games scale based on the height, not the width. So it'll say, "Oh, it's this high," and then it'll be like basically over zoomed in. So you're losing like it scales by the width, not the height. So you'll lose the top and the bottom of a lot of games because it scales based on the width of the screen, not the height of the screen. So yeah, it's a. I'm not gonna quite go so far as saying I regret buying it, um, but it was not a a purchase I made that I was able to use the product before purchasing it. I just saw it. I was like, that's cool. I love the look of it. I think that's going to be really awesome, and spent way too much money on it. And ever since then, I've been telling people, don't do it. Don't buy an ultra wide. Get two, whatever you want, 27, 32s, whatever. Get two monitors and put them side by side. It's a lot better. The other downside, especially if you do any type of streaming, you can't really stream, and this is two 1440p monitors basically side by side. You can't really stream in ultra wide, and so trying to cut up your screen so you can stream properly, that's a pain in the butt. So we took the same A plus class. You would think you would have known better. I stopped teaching the A plus classes so before the ultra wides really became a thing, so I wasn't able to pass that knowledge on to my students. Okay, let's see here. So we got teleport, we've got all that. Okay, so we've got basically the wizard built out. So let's jump over here. Let's go to our Kanban. Wizard abilities. We've built the frameworks here. They're not fully done, but we've built them. So we're just going to save this. I'm going to put them as we've got the framework. We'll just call that done for right now. Let's see. Who else we got? Let's do the rogue next. Yeah, single target AoE and the mobility. This is going to require the buff system. But we can we'll get the framework for the two different mobilities, but we can make the shurikens and the throw bombs work. So let's get that built. So let's see here. So actually, what did we? I still haven't done that. I'll come back to that in a second. Okay. So let's go over here. Let's go to our rogue. Okay, and then we have these abilities here. I'm just going to copy this icon for now. Copy. Okay. Collapse the wizard. Let's go to rogue abilities. Create new script. First one we're going to do is which one we're going to do first? Let's do shurikens. Shurikens. Okay. And this is going to oops, you know what? We needed we're just going to copy this for right now. Shurikens. So they are. Of course, I did that with a capital. Go figure. Shurikens. Okay. Do all this. We can just do shurikens. Shurikens cast. Okay. And then what did we say the shurikens? I think we said those were two. Shurikens, 2 attack dice separate. Okay, 2. Okay. So those are going to be 2. So that's all fine there. Okay. So that's our shuriken ability. Let's add in. Oh, actually, rogue. We have. We have the actual file that we need for that. So your shurikens. Yeah, I'll just call it that. This. Okay, let's go here. Shurikens. There they are. Okay, whoops, one too far. There we go, close. There's our shuriken ability. Shuriken, I-K-E-N-S, there we go. Throw a, oops, cloud of shurikens around you. Okay, AP cost. We'll probably do 2. Range is 1. AoE. Did we do, what was our AoE target? Let's see. Let's go back here and look. So if we turn this off. Okay. So this, we wanted to update this too, though. We want to, because remember, we found out we were actually targeting like this. So we want to use that. So that, and this. We want to add the same thing into here so that we know when we use these larger ones, we're targeting the right way. Okay. So we save that. We'll turn these all off by default. Okay. Where were we working? Script over here. We were working shurikens. Did we create the shuriken trez? Yeah, we did. Okay. AoE radius was 2. Was that the one we wanted? I closed it before I even looked. Okay, so we want 1. Radius of 1. Okay. So let's go. Oh, no, wait. I want to keep that hidden. Okay, so let's go back to our rogue script. Our AO. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Shurikens. There it is. AoE radius of 1. Target self, not target allies. Okay. Do I need to put... I don't think we need to worry about this because when we do self, we automatically assign, say, this actor is the source of it. So that target allies is totally useless in this context. So, okay, so we have shurikens here. Let's see here. Ultra wide wasn't a thing for us, but we did discuss. I think by the time we took the A+, the flat monitors replaced all the CRT ones like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, when I first started teaching A+ classes, the early flat LCDs had just come on the scene, and basically we were telling people don't use them for gaming because you'll get ghosting and burn-in and all that stuff. So it's been a little while. Oh, God, that was close to 20 years ago, I think now, when I was teaching that class. So it's been a long time. Okay, so let's see. We got shurikens. Let's do one other thing here. Let's go into our animation player. Hit die. We'll just duplicate this. Duplicate attack. I'm going to call it SHURI shuriken. Did I call it shuriken or shurikens? Let's look at the script. I called it shurikens cast. Okay, so let's make sure we name our animation the proper way so it works. Okay. And then we come back into our rogue, our special animation for the shurikens. Okay, let's see here. What we got? We have got, okay, so this is dead center, so it's going to be odd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, 7, 14, and one more is 15. Okay, so it's going to be 15 frames. Okay, H frames. Come on, mouse. There we go. 15. Okay, and then let's make this 1.5 seconds. And this is going to be the one I think that Fireball is kind of showing off why we need that new attack AoE thing. But I think this one's going to really show it off. Okay, so let's add in our new keys here. Oops, missed one. One more. There we go. Okay, so we've got 3, 4, 5. Nope. How's if I click on the correct one? 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Okay. Yeah. So I think we might want to make that the AoE a little bit bigger, but for right now we're gonna go with that. Okay. So then we have this. We have, it's an AoE. It plays that. yeah, let's see if I just have this like sneaking suspicion that I'm missing something. You always kind of get that feeling in the back of your head, like what am I missing? Oh, I need to add the resource. Rogue. Where are we? Rogue. Here we go. Abilities. We have the resource. It is here. Okay. We need to add it into the rogue himself. So here's our ability here. That's mobility. We're just going to trash that for right now because we're going to add a new one. Quick load. Shurikens. Okay. So we'll save that. AP cost of 2. Yeah, 2 because it's going to go around every... we may want to come back when we get into balance. What we may want to do is we may want to come back and edit our abilities, maybe, especially once we have the buff system. We can start adding a cooldown, and either we can have a value here of our cooldown timer, like how many rounds it takes before you can use it again. And then we can either track it via a buff system, like it's on Shuriken cooldown, or we could track it some other way. Something, the buff system might be the best way to do this when we have the buff implemented. Because then if it's on Shuriken cooldown and then we have an item that will like automatically reset your abilities, it can just go through and go wipe it out, wipe it out, wipe it out. Abilities ready. So that might be the best way to do that. So, okay, so we've got this. This is an AoE. We want to do target. We want to do itself. Oh shoot. Okay, this one's gonna be a little bit tough because this one we need to do this with the Barbarian as well with his thunder smite, thunderclap, whatever it's called. Um, we need to make it so they are the target, the center of the AoE. So for right now, I'm gonna leave it as area. I'm gonna leave it as allies. Because I need to target the rogue himself. And then what I can do is we can check is valid in the ability to see if it's the rogue. So let's do this. So let's save this here. Let's go back into our script. Shurikens, if actor is rogue. There we go. And then we'll return true. If not, we'll return false. And then that should make it so we can only cast this ability on the rogue himself. So let's see here. So this takes 2. It's an area of effect. So let's see here. Oops. Oh yeah, and we have target allies right now. Okay, yeah, we want this to be no, we want this to only target bad guys because this is going to determine who the damage gets applied to. Okay, so let's go back to our game board here. Right now, we have it so the rogue can hurt our friends. Oh, we forgot to add the other abilities to the wizard, but that's fine. Okay, so if we do Shuriken, if I click on anything else, it ended my turn. Okay, we don't want that. But if we click on him, it should target everybody around me. Non-existent function, attack actor. Oh, right, because the shurikens are going to be modeled after Fireball. They're not going to be modeled after, um, what's it called? The single target. So let's pull in Fireball, and we'll take this, copy that over. We'll go into our shurikens. Okay, and then we can do this. And we can just take this out, cut, and put that right here. There we go. And because, of course, this one doesn't use the underscores. Okay. So that should, whoops, that should fix that. Okay. Yeah, end of turn, that's fine. End turn. End turn. Okay, shurikens. Okay. We're going to attack each of the people. Oh, we attacked ourselves. Okay. Usability shurikens. These are all within one. We only attacked myself. Is that right? Did we do this wrong? Did I do... Where's my shuriken's resource? Or this? It's an area of effect. It targets allies. It's probably because I'm targeting myself. Is valid target. Let's check. Do we do an is valid target on on the game board here? Game board. Here we go. What is this? I don't remember that. Okay. AoE target selected. If ability is valid target, then await attack actor. Oh, okay. So what we're doing here. Okay. Because this is AoE. Okay. Let me think about this. Because what we're doing is when we're calling each attack cycle, we're going through and we're validating the target. So we're saying the barbarian's not a rogue, the wizard's not a rogue, the priest is not a rogue. Only the rogue's a rogue, so we only attack the rogue. Okay. So how do we want to do... How do we want to do this? Let's just get rid of the rogue restriction for right now, and we'll get this working. We'll circle back around. So how did we do fireball? Because we want to target the same way we did fire. No, this is, again, we're validating the target. So if it's an actor, return true. Okay, save. Actually, if actor, let's do, is not a rogue. Not equal to. There we go. So if the actor is not a rogue, so this should target all my buddies, but not me. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go back to rogue. I mean, when we switch this to, it only targets enemies. It's going to be not an issue. But for right now, I'm just trying to make sure it works. Okay. End turn. That's fine. Oop, boom. No, I cancel. I want to just do. Okay. Shuriken, target me. This should target all three of them. 1, 2, 3. Okay, why did that do? Huh. Why did that do 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks? I think I attacked myself. I mean, it did end my turn because now it's the other person's turn, but I think I attacked myself on that one. If actor, oh wait, is not rogue. How about that? Oh, if not actor is rogue. How about that? No, that's not what I want. If actor is rogue, let's just return false. Else, we'll return true. Let's just do that. Yeah. Okay, shurikens. Boom. Okay, so the turn ended before it was done, but we are getting the animation, and it's attacking one by one. Okay. But we're not waiting for everything to happen. Why are we not waiting? We're awaiting Combat Manager here. So when we're calling it from the game board, it's instantly ending right here. For actor and actors, we await the ability. This for loop must still be going through. This is still running when it hits this. So we're returning here if it's not valid. So we should await this being done. Can I do that? Is that gonna, that's not gonna let me do that. Okay. Yeah, because it's ending right off. Either way, we've got it working here. Let's turn off the target's allies. So now we can only target bad guys. Let's turn back on our thing. Let's make sure it works against our enemies. Okay. Okay, we use a, let's move. If I move, I lose an AP point. Shuriken. If I do it here, there's no targets. And if I move to here, I won't be able to do it because I don't have enough AP. Okay. Yeah, I think Shuriken should only be one cost. And then we'll just add a cooldown timer to it. So let's do that. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's move over to here so we can target all of them. We'll do this. We might hit the wizard. No, probably not, because the wizard's not going to be a valid target. Huh. Why are we turn advancing before that ability's over? That doesn't happen with the fireball, right? So if I use the fireball, it waits. Okay, now we have another bug. Oh boy. Oy vey. Let's see here. How can the die not exist? It's advancing too fast. Okay. Is it bugging me? Yes, the bug is bugging me. Let me think here. Okay. I'm not gonna worry about this one because this one is a little bit less rare. I I kind of know what the root cause of this bug is. This is, we're not awaiting our turns properly. I need to go back through and fix our turn manager stuff so it works properly with the right signals. Which, if you remember right, in our actor, we have the was it in an actor? Where did we put it? Action complete. No, I think it was in the turn node. Turn node. We had it in one of them. Is it player? We have signals. They're here somewhere. Where's our debugger? Yeah, turn started, turn ended. It's in the turn manager. We don't have these hooked up yet. I'm going to work all that stuff originally into the UI. That's stuff that I need to get hooked up and working properly so that we make sure that we're not moving on to the next turn before it's too soon. Okay. So let's see here. Let's see. It's quarter of. Let's rewrite. I want to rewrite the attack AOE before it's too late, or not too late, but before I have to end the stream. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so let's go into our combat manager. Let's get that. That should hopefully we'll hit a couple other issues with this when we do that. Combat manager. We have this is our attack right now. We're gonna just reuse this. So let's take this. Let's copy this, and then we're gonna do boom. This is gonna become attack AOE. Okay, and then this will be targets, and it's going to become an array of actors. Okay. Yep, that's fine there. Okay, and then so our rough idea. Let's put this, map this out here. We'll just do it this way. So what we want to do is we're going to start the attack, and then we want to play the casting animation. Do I want to do it first, or do I want to roll the dice first? No, we'll do the play casting animation. This is going to factor in, but what we want to do is let's do the roll attack pool, because we want to find out how much damage like the fireball is going to do. We talked about that earlier. You know, even if it's 7 dice, not 7 dice, 7 targets, rolling individually as the attacker for 7 different characters, it gives a lot more variety, but at the same time, it really is going to slow down the game. So let's roll the attack pool first. We'll get our successes from that. And then we're going to loop through the defense pools. So we're going to roll each one of the defenses, defenses dice. I don't know why I was saying that. And then after that, let's see, we're going to loop through the defense pool. And then what we can do is this is where we'll play the casting animation, and then we can do the play the hit/die animations, and then what we can do, and then we wait for all the animations to finish. Wait for animations, and to finish. You know what? We probably just for our own knowledge, we want to do this here. Wait for animation of the casting to finish. Play the hit die. Oh, actually, you know what we want to do? And then when that finishes, we need to play the AoE. Create AoE scene. Because like if it's a fireball, it's going to explode. If it's a what's the other thing? A bomb. The bomb's going to explode. If needed. Because remember, the Barbarian and the Rogue with the Shuriken, it's all based on their character themselves, so they're using their own thing. We don't need to create a new scene for that. So we can create an AoE scene if needed for like Fireball. And then let's see what else we do. Then we can play the hit and die. We need to do the so here we're doing through this. Where do we want to do? So here, so when we loop through here, this is where we want to apply. We want to apply the damage here. Okay. So we're going to apply the damage here, and then we're going to this is where we're going to check for results. Okay, so we're going to check to see if they're still alive and they took damage, if they didn't take any damage, or if they took enough damage that they're dead. Then we're going to play all of them at the same time. Then we're going to wait for those to finish. And then what we need to do, we need to do our cleanup. So then we're going to do our unregister dead actors. Okay, I think, and then we can just signal end of attack. Okay, so if we think of it in this frame of what we're going to do with this,
This right here, I think, is going to fix the problem that we're running into right now. This might be a little bit of a we're passing in an animation, but we're not passing in a. I'll circle back to that in a second. Um, okay, so let's see. We're gonna reuse a lot of this stuff. Um, so we've got. So we have the attack dice. We roll the attack dice pool, right? We check for the overrides if there's an override, so that's fine. This, the actor dice pool, build pool. This is the defender dice pool. So what we need to do is this is our targets. So we're going to have to loop through wherever we do all the opponent stuff in a loop. So we've got this. We need to roll. Okay, so let's cut this. So we'll roll the attack dice so that we roll the attack pool, and then we're going to wait. We're going to do for each of these for target in targets. Okay. And then in here, we have the results already. Okay, we can just do this. So then this will loop through each of the targets being attacked. We'll say how many dice they have, their dice pool. We'll build the pool, and then we'll wait for the roll. We'll take the damage because we already have the actor dice pool, so the attack pool, and we can do that from this. But we need to assign the damage to the target. So instead of checking the damage, we need to actually assign the damage. So we do that right here. So let's cut that. So we calculate the damage, we apply the damage. Okay. Okay. So then let's see here. So we loop through, we apply the damage. And then we have to play the casting animation. So let's see here. Where are we? Attacker. Okay, so yep, here we go. Play the attack animation. Attack has the animation name. Wait. Has animation idle. So it goes back to an idle after it's done. Okay, so we do that. And then, so we play the casting animation, wait for the animation to finish. This, let's copy this down here. We're going to need to do the AoE scene if needed. I'm just going to leave that right there for right now because I haven't created that scene yet. Then we need to play the hit die animations after checking for the results. So we're going to loop through all the targets again. So I'm just going to, you know what, I'm going to start copying these down so then we can see what we're doing. Okay. So here we want to do for target and targets. Okay, and then we can check here. Okay, so we tab this in. Oops, that's going to be back here. So if target dot damage, no. So if target dot, do I call it current HP? What did I call it up here? Current HP. There we go. Target current HP is less than or equal to 0. Oh no, because we need to check to see if they took damage. Do we need to create a new scene? Do we need to do... what do we need to do? Oh, actually, 1 second. The kids just showed up and closed my door. There we go. It won't be so loud. Okay, so if a current HP is less than or equal to... No, because this was damaged before, so we need to see we need a way to tell if they took damage. Because we only want to play the animation if they took damage. I don't want to, I don't want to make a temporary variable on the actor, just saying, hey, this is my previous health, this is my new health. I mean, we could just create an array of results. Yeah, I mean, we could just do that. We could just create an array of results. For target and targets, we can do, let's do var damage, damage to targets. There we go. Equal, that's going to be an array, array of int, and that's going to equal nothing to start with. Okay. So then here, where we're doing that, we can do damage to targets dot append, and then we can just append in the damage. There we go. Okay, so then we have this. Copy. So then when we do, instead of target and target, we still want target and targets. Is this going to be the bad way to do this? I'm just trying to make this happen here on the fly. Damage to target. So we have this damage array where we're going to track how much damage was done. And then for target and targets, I don't... people don't see under the hood, right? Okay. If current target HP is less than 0, target and targets. If damage targets counter is greater than 0, then we can, or if it's less than or equal to 0, we'll do that. Less than or equal to 0, we can just continue on. We'll skip over this one. Nope, and I saw nothing also. Now I feel like that delay is just throwing me off. I have no idea what you're referring to. So, okay, if damage to targets counter is less than or equal to 0, we just continue on to the next target. If the target's current HP is less than with 100 hours, I would take shortcuts also. Yeah, I was trying to scale it down by keeping the scope real small and keep it real bare bones. But yeah, I've taken a lot more shortcuts than I really want to. Okay. So let's see here. So if we look at our current our target's current HP, if it's less than or equal to 0, then they need to die. Oh, we don't need this part right here because we're doing it down below. Okay. So we can just take this out entirely. Target's current HP is greater than 0. We play the hit animation. Else, we go through and we play their die animation. And then we can credit the gold. If this target has died, this await. Where are we going to do the await? Register actor. We wait for the animations. We need to play all these at once. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to trigger these. We don't need to do the await animation. We need to do... So we don't want to do that here because we want to trigger them all so they all start happening at the same time. So let's take this out. Let's take this out as well. Oh wait, this is the attack. I do want that to be like that. Down here, this part I want to take out. So let's take that out. I'm just going to put this right here because we're going to need that later. Okay. Oops, bonk. We'll put that there. Let's see here. So we're going to go through. We're not going to await that there. We're going to do this. The target has died. Okay. So then this should trigger all their animations at once. We're not waiting. Okay. So we've done that. We've created the play, hit, check for results, wait for the animations to finish, and then we unregister all the dead actors. Okay. So then when we want to wait for the animations to finish, what we can do, let's do... do I want to... oh, popsicle sticks and duct tape. Can I do an array of signals? Maybe that's what I want to do. Yeah, let's do that. Let's try that. I don't know if I like the solution, but playing animations. And that's going to be an array of signal. We'll just call it an array for right now. Boom. For our playing animations, it's going to be an array. Oh, equals. There we go. Blank array. Okay. So when we copy this here, so if it has playing animation hit dot append animation player. Yeah. We'll just do the animation player. Yeah, there we go. No, we want to pass the target animation player. We want to pass that in. Okay. Yeah. So we'll append that. We'll also do it down. Actually, do we want to do it right? If the damage continues, so we skip out. So let's take this, cut this away from here. Let's do else if. No, we want that where it is. And then we put this right here. We append it. Right? Okay, so we do this. We append this into an array of animation players. And then what we need to do is we need to await every single one. How do we do this? So we have all the animations. We need to wait for them to finish playing. Let me think here. So we append them all here. Here we're going to wait for the animations to finish. So we have an array of playing animations. So if we do like for animation player in playing animations, okay, then what we can do is if animation player dot is playing underscore is playing. Oh, excuse me. I believe that's a function. So we say if it's playing, then we can await animation player dot animation finish. Animation finished. See, if I do this as animation player animation player. If I can't do that one, cannot convert from array to animation. Okay. Oh, because that's doing. Can I do it at this part right here? Oh, I can do a colon. Okay, there we go. So now let's just make sure that I'm using the right context here. Animation finished. Okay, just wanted to make sure it's the right signal. Okay, so we got that. So let's see. If we await the animation finished, okay, and then because we're going to cycle through. So the first one ends could be the first one. So we're going to wait for that first one to finish playing. Then we'll move on to the next one. If that one's finished playing, because these are all going to be hit and die, right? Because we're only adding them right here. We're only, so we add hit, we add die, because if they didn't take any damage, we're skipping. We're only adding ones that are taking damage. Okay, so if we do that, we wait them to be finished. We'll go through, and then we can add in this animation play idle. Oh, let's check if animation player dot animation, is it name? Animation name. What's the thing? Animation player dot name. What's the animation currently playing? Is it currently playing? Current animation dot, is it name? Or is it just plain current animation? Trying to remember now. How does this work? Current. I think it's just current animation. I think that's the name. Does not equal die. Did we do that lowercase? Yeah, die. Then what we can do here is then we can do animation player play idle. So if they didn't die, then we'll play idle. Okay. Okay. So we do that. And then do we loop through all the targets again, or do we just create a yet another array of ones to remove? Let's just loop through the same thing again. I don't want to do. So we got this. This is fine. Then we need wait for animations finish. We need to do this. So that will be our next one here. And let's do for target and targets. And then we can say if target dot current HP is less than or equal to 0. Oops, less than or equal to 0. And then we can await the unregister of the target. Okay. And then here, this is where we do signal end of AoE attack. Wow. Okay. You can tell it's getting close to the end of my streaming time. I cannot type to save my life. Okay. So do we have, this is in the combat manager, party defeated, new turn. We don't have a signal for a signal that's complete. We do have a turn manager. Let's just make a new signal for right now. Signal AoE attack underscore complete. Yep. Okay. So then we'll take this. We'll bring that down here. Where were we? Right. Register. Do this. Emit. So we're returning true. I don't think we need a Boolean on this. Do we? Do we have any other returns? Attack AoE. No return. No return. Continues. No returns. So we'll change this. we'll change this to just a void, and then it'll have the signal of AoE attack complete. Okay. So then what we need to do, this is all in the combat manager. So if we copy this, let's go back into our fireball. So instead of attack, we're going to call, oops, that's not what we want. We want to call attack, what do we call that again? Attack AoE? Attack underscore AoE. Attack underscore AoE. And then we're going to send in, I'm going to call attack actors. So this is going to be actors, and it's going to be an array. ARRAY of actors. Okay. So then we're going to do that. We're going to send in the actors. We're going to send in this and the fireball. Okay. And then we're going to await. We're going to call that combat manager, that. And here we're going to do await combat manager.aoe attack complete. Okay. Okay. So that's how that's going to work. So this is for fireball. We're only going to do fireball here. Whew. So then we come back into game board. Here we go. AoE target selected. We're going to go through all this. We're going to do attack actors. Where I've already done this. So I'm just going to undo this. Go control that. And then we're going to just await this. We're going to put this here. Await ability attack actors. And then we're going to send in our actors. Okay. So in theory, right now, the rogues shuriken's going to be busted. But our fireball should attack actors. We should roll once for the wizard, and then each one of the orcs should roll individually, and then we're going to play all the animations at once, and then resolve and move on. Let's cross our fingers, see if I did this right. Okay, we'll just end the rogue's turn. Well, did we change the fire? I hope we changed the fireball. Here we go, fireball. Okay. Okay, we roll once. Why did that do that? Why did the fireball only attack with one? What did we do wrong? Attack dice 4. So here we go. Wizard is using ability fireball. We targeted all the orcs. Okay, let's figure this out, and then I gotta go get lunch because I can smell it already. So here's the signal. So when we call attack AoE, so we call fireball here, we attack actors, void. So maybe we need this to be true. Let's let's go back here to not combat manager, game board. So we go into here. If it's empty, if not, we do this. We await this. No, we need the await here as well. Await, combat manager, AoE, attack. What was it called? AoE attack finished. AoE attack complete. So if we await that there, that should hopefully, because here we're awaiting the attack actor. Let's try that. Okay, fireball. Okay. And again, I know this error is happening because we're cycling through the dice too fast. So that's why that one's happening. So attack dice 4. Yeah, so we're attacking with a fireball. We attack all the orcs. Error, attack dice 4. Then instantly the wizard's turn is over. Do we have a error somewhere? Yeah. I'll figure those out after. Yeah. I know that this is not valid. Right? Because we're doing target type area right there. Yeah, so let's close that off so that it doesn't complain anymore. Ability target selector. Wait. Is it a coroutine or signal? So execute is not. Let's make this into a bool. We're gonna make it so we have to wait. Turn false. Oh wait, you know what? We don't need. No, I'm not gonna worry about execute. Fireball, because that is a unique. This is unique here, so let's do a bool here. That's not going to complain. And then here we can do return true. That should make it wait. This is waiting for the AoE attack complete. Okay. Let's just add in a print error. Done waiting. Okay. So this should wait for all the AoE to be done. Then we'll get this, and then we should return true. And then that should hopefully fix that. Let's see here. If not, this is going to have to wait until next week. Okay, don't kill the wizard before I can do anything with him. Okay, fireball. It's... let's see here. I should have waited. Attack dice 4. Okay, so it's not actually calling the right thing. Okay, so we're not calling ability, not ability, game board, fireball, game board. Here we go. AoE target selected. Await combat manager. AoE attack complete. Ability attack actors. It's right here. Okay, let's make this a little bit more. We'll do this. We'll go back to our wizard. We'll do a fireball spell. Target allies. Save. Okay. So let's see here. Let's go back. Let's look at a game board. We're coming into our AoE target selected. If it's not here, we subtract the cost. We attack the actors. So how about we await that and we don't do it there. Okay, let's see if now we can attack our friends. Okay, and fireball. Attack our friends. There's our 4 dice. 1 defense, 2 defense, 3 defense, 4 defense. Okay, so we targeted ourselves. We're done waiting. We didn't play the animation though. Let's try that one more time. We didn't play that cast animation. We already ended the turn. That's probably because I did the double click there. We already ended the turn, yeah. So we're jumping ahead. Why are we jumping ahead? We're doing this. We're awaiting the attack actors. Let's put a print error here. I should be waiting. There we go. So let's take a look here. So if we do that, we do a fireball, center it on me. Yeah, I should have waited. It did not wait. It instantly triggered. Okay. One last look, and then I'm gonna go get some lunch. Oh, here we go. Here's our attack actors. Boom, 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 boom. Combat manager, attack AoE. Await. Attack AoE complete. Print error, done waiting. So, I mean, this is acting because we are going through, we are doing the 1 attack dice, we are doing all the defense dice. But this doesn't seem like it's awaiting properly. Did we accidentally put it somewhere else? Combat manager. I don't think we did. We have it defined and we have it called. So right here, we should be waiting. For animation player and playing animations, if animation is playing, oops, control, what did I do? What did I do? Control, attack AoE, that's fine. Okay, let's see here. So right here, well, first, we're not even waiting for this. We're not waiting for this to finish. Because we're not playing his fireball animation, right? The wizard's never playing his I do this. Yeah, see, he's not, we do the dice, he should play his animation here. He's not playing his animation at all. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm gonna have to sort this out. I feel like I'm missing something stupid. I'm just missing something blatantly obvious that I am not doing properly. Because right here we're not waiting at this point. If attacker has an animation player and the animation player has animation, in this case fireball cast, play fireball cast. Oh wait. You know, let's just double check something here. Let's do else. Let's do a print error. Just to make sure that we're addressing this stuff. Animation not found. Let's just make sure that it's not skipping over because we don't have an animation. Okay, bring this up. Okay, here, boom, boom, boom. Animation not found. Okay, so it's not finding the animation. So targets, override, animation name. So when we're calling this, it's saying it can't find the animation. Attacker is the current person. Fireball. We're calling it Fireball Cast. Combat Manager, attack AoE. Actors for Fireball Cast. We clearly have... Oh, I know why. Okay. No, I know why. Oh, okay. I know why it's happening. I don't know where to fix it right now. But what's happening is if we come back here and we look, end our turn here, whatever. So as soon as I cast Fireball, you'll see right now the active player is the wizard. He's orange. As soon as I click this, boom, it's now the Barbarian. Because we're checking the current actor for the animation player, the Barbarian doesn't have Fireball cast. So when we click this, it's advancing our turn too soon. That's why we're not having any animations. So we need to stop the advancement to get this to work. So this all comes back again to I need the targeting state machine, and I need to go back in and fix my turn manager. So let's go over here to our board. Let's add in new card. Turn manager doesn't wait. So we're going to add that into our bug column that we absolutely need to fix. Okay. I'm going to stop this for today, 2:10. So we are at, let's see, charts. We're at 6.3. We were at 36 or 30. I don't forget. We were at 4.2 when we started today, so we add an extra 0.1. Yeah. Okay. I gotta get all the other times from the videos add back in, so we got a better idea. I'm gonna call this. It was 2:10. Whoops, wrong button. Get into my GitHub. Call it 2 hours. We've been slacking a little bit. We've been kind of cutting 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. So I'm going to call it 2.5 hours. So we'll be at 38. So 39 hours is where we are. So we did a lot of changes today. Built more abilities and AoE attack. Oops. AoE attack. How did I misspell abilities? Abilities. There we go. So sorry, we were at 36, so we called it 39 hours. Okay. 39 hours. Boom. Okay. So we'll commit that up, push this up. Okay. Yeah, so we are at 39 hours where we are. We've got our not a whole lot done. We did do some rogue. Here we go. We did do the shurikens. We didn't get to the throw bomb. Man. Okay. We didn't get the range validation. Oh, joy. Okay, let me cut back over to where is my... Yeah, here we go. So I can head to. So, just kind of wrap up today. It was, again, hung up on bugs and just random things. So we added in the validation and then execute, but then we broke it. So we didn't really make forward progress on that. We added in the AP subtraction. So we got that working. I have a feeling, because I was just kind of racing through it, I feel like we probably have a bug in there still somewhere. So we're probably not subtracting it properly. But I yeah, I'll just go with that for right now. But we did get that added in. We still have to do the range validation, which my idea for that is when we do the AoE targeting or other stuff. Right now it's orange if it's valid, and I want to change it to like red if it's not valid, or maybe it'll be green if it's valid and red if it's not. Something that'll clearly communicate to the player that they're doing something properly. We did build in the attack AoE. We do have the problem with it that it's advancing turn because the turn manager is not waiting right. So we're probably going to need to come back in and do that. And then we also need to add in the buff system, so then we can add in the buffs. So I think I'm going to attempt what is next Tuesday. Let me see if I can find the next Tuesday is the 7th. I am going to tentatively plan an afternoon stream on the 7th, probably at like 2 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what, or not 2 p.m., probably like noon Eastern, noon to 2 on the 7th. So I'm going to circle back around. I'm going to try to figure out how we can fix our turn manager so that it properly waits. Because we've had multiple problems now. We have the dice faces, we have the AoE attack, all that stuff. It's coming back around to we're not being patient. We're just jumping to the next player. So we gotta sort through. I gotta dig through the code. I want to figure out where this is happening. I'm not changing anything, not on stream. Every change I make to this game, it's on stream, it's recorded, so we can see. But I still like to run through, especially on my older computer, my laptop, because sometimes things happen with a slower machine that don't happen on the faster machine, and vice versa. So, and a lot of times I can find bugs that way and figure out things a lot better. Let's see. Is there anything else? We need to build the buff system. So next Thursday, I'm going to work on building. The plan is to get the buff system in place and the finish the abilities, and then we can move on to. I think the only thing we really need for the monsters is we need a ranged attack and possibly a hey, I'm too close, I need to back away ability. I don't know if we'll do that or not. We might do that. I don't have. They don't work like that in the Dungeons and Dragons game. They don't work like that in Hero Quest, where they go, "Hey, I'm too close. I should back away." So I don't know if we'll add that, but we need at least that one decision engine of, "Am I close enough to shoot my bow and arrow?" And then once we have that, we need to build out all of our enemies, and that's going to be pretty easy. So. Because we'll just build our base orc class. We have the resource for the stats, so we can make orc 1, orc 2, orc 3, and we can adjust the stats as need be. And the decision engine, we just plug in all the steps that we want them to take each turn. So that should be pretty easy, pretty straightforward. The other thing we need to do, and this might still be back to our ability validation, is we want to make sure we don't allow the player to cast through walls. Like, I'm on this side of the wall and I'm going to throw a fireball on that side of the wall. So we just need, I think we'll work that into range validation and is it valid in the spell things. Whereas teleport, we probably want the wizard to be able to teleport through a wall, especially if he gets stuck in a really bad area. Yeah, so I think that's the plan. Tentatively, again, probably noon Eastern time, I will update the ahead of time on my YouTube channel. So be sure to look out for that. If you want to know when that's going to happen, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get the alert. But we'll look for hopefully Tuesday and then always Thursday and Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time, I do these. So. Without further ado, I'm going to go get some lunch, and it's a holiday weekend here for us. So if you guys are in the States, happy 4th. If not, have a good weekend, and I'll see everybody